Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness. Okay, recording in progress. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Wonderful. Yes, I'm very happy and grateful to be here and happy to see all of your smiling, wonderful faces there online. So today I'm going to be giving a talk called It's a Brand New Baby Day. And I've been reading this new daily meditation book, and it isn't organized by date like most of them are, but by topic. And this morning I decided I wanted to do a little brush up on creativity. And so I did a search in that book on creativity, and I found a reading that so perfectly applied to my topic today that I wanted to read it to you. So it begins with this quote by Ernest Holmes. I know I am now at the threshold of all good, wisdom, and truth. All the good I can embody is now mine. I have only to open the portals of my soul and accept that which is ready to express through me. I just love that. I mean, it's a brand new baby day. I could start it with that meditation, that reading from Ernest Holmes, that quote, and I could end my talk right there, and I'd be complete. But I've got more. I have more. So the rest of the reading goes like this. Opening day at the Milwaukee Brewers baseball stadium brings back memories. I believe opening day excitement should be true for any sport in any sport arena. With a record free of loss and anticipation of a successful season, opening day is also a ritual of loyal fans gathering with other aficionados to welcome another season. Each day of your life is an opening day to achieve something new or increase your personal value. You are spirit's outlet. Your job here is to become an outlet for its wisdom, intelligence, love, beauty, and creativity. Life is flowing through you as pure spirit because you are God's stuff. Your word has power to manifest itself in concrete form. Now is the time to open to what you want and create your vision. Listen to that still small voice that is tugging for your attention. You will duplicate what you understand. No time to be vague. You must define, you must be definite in your desires to be able to achieve your goals. Take a few minutes in silence to allow the infinite to speak to you. Add visioning to your daily schedule to prepare for opening your mind. Mind, as law, is helpless without your direction. All the good you can embody is yours now. Declare the command to open the doorway to your future. It will be done unto you. And the affirmation is, I demand my vision be brought into substance. I have prepared the opening, and my demonstration is brought alive in my experience right now. And if you're interested in the name of that book, it's published by Anton, affiliated New Thought Network, and it's called, oh my goodness, I'll look it up when I'm done talking. But that particular writing was written by Reverend Susan Carol Dexter, who is an interfaith and religious science minister in New Berlin, Wisconsin. I'll put the name of the book in the comments when I'm done with my talk. So yeah, it's a brand new baby day. I loved that reading. I loved that reading. And it's also brand new baby month. And for this month, I'm inviting you to be curious about being and doing things differently than ever before. To say to yourself, that's how we've never done it. That's what I want to see for each one of us this month. Doing new things, greater things. And to start this off, I want to begin by playing one of my favorite games. I call this game What If? What If is part of a spiritual practice that could also be called curiosity. What if you could wake up each morning and automatically be filled with gratitude and joy and peace and equanimity? I don't know about you guys, but I don't wake up like that every morning. In fact, most mornings I don't wake up like that. I need to work I need to work at it. What if you could do this without effort, without consciously sitting down and meditating, or consciously sitting down and going within and assessing what you're feeling in order to discern whether or not you need to change what you're feeling and thinking? What if you could use this brand new baby month to be and do things differently than you've ever done them before? Seems to me like that would be a grand rising. And grand rising is something in Centers for Spiritual Living circles. We've been talking about grand risings, and I love that phrase. Lots of doing things differently in Centers for Spiritual Living right now. There's a lot of change going on. This is the year, and you know what? There's change going on everywhere, isn't there? I know there's change going on for you guys at Unity at the Lake. I've seen it. I've read the newsletters. I know what's going on for you guys. There's change happening. And in my book, it's always for the good. Anyway, Grand Rising is the year-long theme for Centers for Spiritual Living for 2024. And they've got a tagline now: be more in 2024 and love more in 2024. And a couple of weeks ago, I attended our annual convention, and almost every speaker greeted us by saying, Grand Rising. I just love that. I love it much more better than good morning. I don't know, good morning doesn't really do it for me, but Grand Rising, I love that. And this convention was different than any other convention I've ever experienced at Centers for Spiritual Living. We did things differently this convention, and I was in awe, and I was inspired, and I was fully and completely engaged in the consciousness of a grand rising. And also, when it was all said and done and I got home, I was very, very tired. Turns out it takes a long work to affect a grand rising in our lives. Manifesting a grand rising in our lives means thinking, speaking, and ultimately doing differently than we ever have before. And I've learned that how we do the small things is also how we do the big things. So if we can look at something we do on a small level, if something big happens, we're going to do the same thing unless we actively work to change it. How we experience day-to-day living is typically how we also experience our years and our lives. So the invitation today is to consider a grand rising in your own life, one day at a time, by taking this one new, brand new baby day and beginning to change the small things. And then the bigger ones will automatically change. So how do we do that? Well, like it said in that reading, we are made of God stuff. Yep. We are each unique and individualized manifestations of spirit. Physical, walking, breathing, talking godlings. Now, I don't know about you, but when I envision myself as a godling, as made of God stuff, as a unique and individualized manifestation of spirit, I go to qualities of God. I go to all those wonderful qualities of spirit that I've been taught through all the, ministerial school and practitioner studies. And I'm sure you guys have done this too. And I think about those qualities of spirit and I wonder, how can I be more like that? How can I embody those qualities? Things like love and joy and compassion and unconditional love, those kinds of things. And I think about what my values are in life. And I think about whether or not those values are matching the values that I think are God's values. And then I think about the fact that God is, by its very nature, always reaching for more and higher and better. God created us so that it could experience the physical. So we are God stuff. We are little godlings walking around this earth. And if God wants to expand ever more higher, then our invitation is to do and be the same. We are called to be more and more godlike in all of our affairs, 24/7. And it's not really a tall order. I mean, after all, we are a part of God and it is a part of us. And then we could play the what if game again and say, what if I really and truly believed that I was a part of God and it was a part of me? If that's true, then I could also ask myself, what would God do in this situation? And then I go do that. Interesting stuff begins to happen when I ask myself that. What would God do in this situation? And then I try and go do that. Really interesting stuff begins to happen. It's kind of scary sometimes too, but it also elevates me into something much higher and more, which is why I'm here on this earth. So that's the first thing we can do to affect this brand new grand rising in this brand new baby day in this brand new baby month. Ernest Holmes says the thoughts of the tomorrows and yesterdays are swallowed up in the great realization of the perfect here and the complete now. And I love that quote because what he's saying is we don't live in yesterday and we don't live in tomorrow. We live right here, right now. And each day, one day at a time, we can begin to be and do and think differently in order to affect a grand rising in our own lives, in order to experience a brand new baby day, one day at a time. And then another piece of this process is personal self awareness. Now, this happens to be my most favorite spiritual practice coupled with affirmative prayer or treatment, as we call it in Centers for Spiritual Living. Personal self-awareness, meaning knowing ourselves fully and completely, knowing our feelings at any given moment, and knowing how we react in times of stress and fear, and knowing how to restore our faith when faith has disappeared. I don't know about you, but how I do this practice is I decide each and every day upon awakening to dive into what's going on inside of me and make myself aware of what is going on in there. I ask myself, how do I feel today? I ask myself, can I accept all of those feelings without judgment and work towards changing those feelings that don't serve me, but doing it with compassion? I ask myself if I'm blaming myself, for something that has happened in the past. I ask myself, what are my intentions for today? I ask myself, what do I wish to accomplish today? I ask myself if I'm practicing good self-care by not making my to-do list so long that it's impossible to accomplish it. And then I blame myself for not getting everything done that I had on my list. I ask myself, how do I wish to show up today in my relationships with other people? Now, if you're new to this self-awareness introspective practice, you might be sitting there and thinking, I don't have time to do all of that. I can share with you that it might seem like a lot, but first of all, it's essential because the way that we have successful lives, more successful than anything we ever dreamed of, is to truly know ourselves. And the reality is that once we have a consistent and persistent introspective practice under our belts, it can be done in a very short amount of time. It can be done while we're in the shower getting ready for our day. I do it when I go out in the morning and feed the horses. It's a little bit of a walk from my back door out to where the horses are. It's a little bit of a, especially on a day when there's 2 feet of snow on the ground, to get the door open to the hay barn and grab the hay and then go walk into the stall and keep the horses away from it while I'm putting it under shelter so it doesn't get wet and blown away from the wind. It's a little bit of a process. And while I'm doing all that, I'm constantly assessing, what am I feeling? Am I feeling optimistic for my day or pessimistic? That's a big one for me. And if I'm feeling pessimistic, I change it right here, right now. I find something to be grateful for. So, if you try this practice and you realize you have no idea what you're feeling at any given moment, you're not alone. Every person I work with in my workshops, the majority of them don't know what they're feeling at any given time. I ask them what they're feeling. They say, well, I think. Well, I've got news for you. A thought is an opinion. A feeling is a state of consciousness or an emotional frame of mind. If you're out and about today and you go into a little skid on the ice and you manage to recover from it and not get in an accident, would you know what you were feeling at that given moment? If you went into a skid and did get in an accident, would you know what you were feeling at that given moment? It's really helpful to know what we're feeling, because if we know what we're feeling, then we can respond with love and compassion and intelligence. There's a reason why a very, very common phrase, and I'll bet you every last one of you has heard this phrase, to thine own self be true. Well, guys, the only way that we can really be true to ourselves is to truly know ourselves. And we can do that through the introspective practice and beginning to identify your feelings. If you want a fun little exercise, go to Google and type in feelings list. And you'll get all kinds of wonderful messages, wonderful words for feelings. I did it this time, and now they've added some new stuff. I did it in preparation for this talk just to see if there's anything different out there. They've got faces attached with feelings. They've got emojis attached with feelings. They have feelings lists for different teachings. Like you've heard of nonviolent communication, they have a feelings list for that. There's all kinds of feelings lists out there. Feelings are things like joyful, amazed, awe, bliss, delighted, eager, ecstatic, enchanted, energized, engaged, enthusiastic, excited, free, happy, inspired, invigorated, and more feelings, angry, loving, sadness, joyful, confusion, happiness, affection. Now, once you begin to be able to identify your feelings, remember not to judge them, just notice them. And then take a little bit deeper dive and become aware of how you typically react when you're feeling something. For example, if you go into a skid and you come out of it and you end up okay, what are you feeling? I don't know about you, but what I'm feeling is gratitude, overwhelming gratitude. That happened to me once. I was on my way to give a talk to you guys, and I found some black ice at the bottom of Kingsbury Grade and went into a skid. And I remembered what my mom taught me when she taught me how to drive. Steer into the skid, take your foot off the brakes, and take your foot off the gas. And I did all that. And I pulled over to the side of the road safely and sat there and breathed for a minute and felt the gratitude for my mom teaching me that, felt the gratitude that I automatically went into that, and felt the gratitude that I wasn't the rest of those people who didn't respond appropriately to that black ice and ran into the telephone or the light pole down at the bottom of the street. I felt gratitude. So we can check in with our feelings at any time and notice what we do when we're having these feelings and how we typically react to something. There's another thing I know about feelings. We need to allow them and not judge them and have compassion for them, but we don't need to act on them. Guys, your feelings are not the boss of you. We are the boss of them. We can learn how to release these feelings with compassion and love and joy and replace them with something that serves us better. And that's how we affect a brand new baby day in our life, a grand rising in our life. And when we move into that place where we want to replace those feelings with something better, guess what spiritual tool we use then? Affirmative prayer. And I'm right back full circle to God with that. Right back full circle with God. And I love that. Love that. I'm right back to knowing the essential and elemental truth of who and what I am, a perfect and individualized manifestation of spirit. So we can use affirmative prayer to change our feelings if we're waking up with feelings that aren't working so well for us. We can use affirmative prayer to wake up each day knowing that today is a brand new baby day. And we can do things like we've never done them before. We can use that affirmative prayer to feel liberated and joyful and enthusiastic about greeting life. So I close with this quote by Ernest Holmes. I rise to meet the new day filled with confidence and strength. I rise and go forth into the dawn, inspired and refreshed by the living spirit within me. And so I offer up this prayer. I know that God is everywhere present. I know that God is indeed all good all the time. I know that I am one with God. I know that I am a unique and individualized manifestation of spirit. I know that I am made of God's stuff. And so from this oneness with spirit, I speak my word now, and I know for everyone on this call, for everyone hearing these words, I know that each and every one of us is right here and right now experiencing glorious and beautiful feelings that are affecting a grand rising. Each and every one of us right here and right now is ever rising into a higher evolution of ourselves. Each and every one of us is experiencing a wonderful, beautiful, joyous, brand new baby day. And each and every one of us experiencing a wonderful and joyous and beautiful brand new baby month. And each day stretches into more days, which stretches into a month, which stretches into a year, which stretches into our lives. I am so grateful for this truth. And I release this truth into that law, knowing that it is already done. And I anchor, and so it is. Thank you very much, everybody.